All right, so you filed your 2025 taxes, you hit that submit button, and now, well, now the waiting game begins, right? In this explainer, we are tackling the two biggest questions of the 2026 tax season. Where in the world is your refund? And more importantly, why it might be a lot bigger than you're expecting.
I mean, this is it. This is the #1 question on pretty much every taxpayer's mind. You did your part, you filed on time, and now you just want to know when that money is going to hit your account. So let's get you some answers.
But here's the thing, this year is a little different. We're going to walk through exactly how to track your refund, step by step. And then we're going to dig into the major law changes that could mean a seriously bigger refund is coming your way.
Okay, first things first, let's get practical. The absolute best and most reliable way to get an answer is by using the official IRS tool called Where's My Refund. Here's exactly what you need to do.
So, to get your status, you're going to need 3 key pieces of info, and they have to be exact. So you might want to grab your tax return for this. You'll need your social security number or your ITIN, your specific filing status, like single or married filing jointly, and finally, the exact refund amount, right down to the penny from your return. Once you're in, the tool gives you one of 3 pretty simple updates. Return received just means, yep, they got it. Refund sent is obviously the finish line, you're all done. But the one you're really looking for is refund approved. That's the golden ticket. That's the key update that tells you the IRS has processed everything and your payment is on its way.
Okay, so now you know how to check your status. But what's the actual timeline here? How long should you really expect to be waiting? Let's talk about that.
Here it is, the magic number from the IRS. If you filed electronically and you chose direct deposit, which is the fastest way, the agency's goal is to get that refund to you within 21 days. For most folks, this is the standard time frame.
But, and this is a big but, that 21-day window isn't a guarantee. There are a few things that can definitely slow the whole process down. Filing an old-school paper return, yeah, that's going to take a lot longer. Any little math errors or typos can flag your return for a human to review it. Claiming certain credits, like the Earned Income Tax credit, often means extra verification steps. And of course, if you choose to get a paper check in the mail, you got to factor in the time it takes for it to travel.
And now for the part I know you've been waiting for. We've covered the where and the when, so let's get to the how much. Because this year, a lot of people are in for a very pleasant surprise. The first big reason for a bigger refund comes down to a little bit of a system lag. So, after the huge 2025 tax legislation passed, the IRS didn't really have time to update the official withholding tables that employers use. So what does that actually mean for you? It means your job might have been taking too much tax out of your paychecks all of last year. And guess what? Now the government has to give that extra money back to you.
The second reason is even more straightforward. The tax laws themselves got a major update. This created a bunch of new and much larger deductions that slash your taxable income. And it starts with a really big one.
For the 2025 tax year, the new standard deduction for single filers has jumped up to $15,750. That is a huge increase, and it shields a lot more of your hard-earned money from taxes.
And for married couples who are filing their taxes jointly, well, that number just doubles. The new standard deduction is now a massive $31,500.
But the changes didn't stop there. For all you families out there, the maximum value of the child tax credit got a boost too. It now provides up to $2,200 for each qualifying child.
And this one is huge. There's a brand new bonus deduction created specifically for seniors. So now, taxpayers who are 65 and older can claim an extra deduction of up to $6,000.
And on top of those big ticket items, the new laws also introduced several other new deductions. You might now be able to deduct certain tip income, some overtime pay, and even the interest you paid on a car loan.
So what does this all add up to? Well, when you put it all together, experts estimate this whole package of tax changes provides about $91 billion in total tax relief, and a huge chunk of that relief is being sent directly back to taxpayers in the form of these bigger refunds. All right, we're in the home stretch. Before we wrap this up, let's just quickly cover a few final details to make sure you have everything you need for a super smooth tax season.
Okay, this is a super common point of confusion, so listen up. Your federal refund and your state refund are totally separate. That irs.gov tool we talked about, that only tracks your federal money. To track down your state refund, you've got to go to your own state's Department of Revenue or Treasury website.
And finally, you might want to mark these dates on your calendar. The IRS officially opened its doors and started accepting returns back on January 26th. The big deadline for most of us to file is Wednesday, April 15th, 2026. And for any U.S. citizens living overseas, you get an automatic extension until June 15th.
So there you have it. You know how to track your refund, and just as important, you know why you might be getting a little or a lot more back this year. The only question left is probably the most important one. Knowing this is coming, how will this potential refund boost change your financial plans for the rest of the year?